Welcome to the channel, Scott's Garage HTX. Don't forget the HTX. And today I wanted to speak to something that I feel fairly passionate about and feel it's very important, especially to new riders. And that is the gear we wear, more specifically the armor within the gear we wear, or I think should be wearing. And this is spurred about by a video I watched by somebody I have the utmost respect for. I follow the channel, I love the channel, it's very entertaining, and I do believe the people on there are very intelligent. But Ryan over at Fort9 had given a video about the gear and specifically the armor within our gear. Now again, I do respect the individual. Matter of fact, he has influenced me on some of the gear that I wear even today. But he had kind of a grabber statement out there saying that the armor that we wear in our gear is useless. Now, that's obviously, I've got common sense. I know that's pretty much a grabber statement. And he goes on further in the video to explain his point. And there's lots of statistical analysis, especially in accidents. And he's basically driving to that these do not really prevent you from impact fractures from a fall off your bike. There's more to it. I encourage you, please go out there and get the full video. Do not take my summarization of this. I'm actually, obviously summarizing here. Interesting enough, he also had some comparisons to the equestrian world and their safety gear, which I find inquisitive because my wife is also an equestrian, and she had some points that she brought up while we were discussing this away from the video itself. But I think that there are some things that while I was watching the video that I looked at and kept on going through my mind. And I'm not an engineer, but I like to apply some maybe common sense engineering to this. And I would argue over and over again that you cannot recreate the same accident over and over again. Not twice. You cannot do it. You might argue that you can do it in a lab. I'm going to argue with you that you cannot. You cannot recreate one accident in the real world twice. Just can't do it. So it's impossible to compare, and these statistics that Ryan's going through does not show, and is impossible to show something like that. What I'm driving at is if you fall off your bike and you have a fracture, if you didn't have any gear on, and if you could recreate that accident in the same manner exactly, which I'm arguing again, you cannot. If you had armor on in your gear, your fracture will be less. Maybe it will be a compound fracture versus a clean break, or a clean break to a crack. That's my argument to this, and I sat on that for a couple of weeks, and I'm glad I did, because there have been other videos that come out that kind of address this same video from Fort9, and one of them is, I think his name's John Milbank over at Bennetts Bike Social, and he did it better than both Ryan's point could be argued. No, I could not argue Ryan's point any better than Ryan did. And I cannot argue John's point any better than John did. So my thing is this, and I'm going to quote John on something he said, and that is, and I agree with him, I like people to make their decisions based on informed information, being informed to make their decisions, not influenced. And I think that's very important. So what my point is, or my stance is, watch both videos, and you decide. Watch them in entirety. They might be a little bit lengthy. I think Ryan's is a little bit more entertaining, quite honestly, but you have to be able to follow the math. And this is not the first time that I've watched one of the Fort9 videos and thought, I'm missing something. I'm not an engineer again, but I'm missing something. And that was the one where he was claiming that a 285 degree cross plane crank on a twin is more balanced than a 270. And I watched it like 3 times. I'm missing something. And then I just strolled across another channel that I subscribe to, is Driving for Answers. And he actually addressed what I thought was missing on the Fort9 video. And so it's not the first time in the last couple months I was like, I'm missing something. And actually that video is, he does it very respectfully, but he disclaims about 3 points that were on the Fort9 video. So watch those 2 videos. It's kind of a separate subject, but it's really interesting to see how you can drive at one answer and then go to another answer. And that's what I think really is neat about YouTube as well. Now, back to my point. Please watch both videos. You decide on what you want to do. It's your life, it's your freedoms, you do what you want, and you figure out what level of protection you want to have and which side you think you land on. I think it's interesting. I'd love to hear comments on this and please don't give me half-hearted comments. If you don't watch both videos, you really can't get this whole analysis and everything that we're kind of driving and going for on this topic. But I'd love to hear some of the comments and what you think on this and where you stand. Just kind of a public service announcement, I guess, or something like that. You guys keep on keeping on. We'll catch you next time.